Okay, today's topic is slope. What is slope? Well, slope in math is just a way to describe the steepness or the slantiness of a line. So, some lines are pretty steep, some lines are not super steep, and some are not steep at all, right? But when we say that slope is a way to describe the steepness or the slantiness of a line in math, we mean in numbers, because that's how we do things in math, right? So what kind of numbers would we use to describe the steepness or slantiness of these lines? Well, first of all, the first thing we need to know is sometimes you use positive numbers and sometimes you use negative numbers. So if Hello Kitty is driving uphill, then that line has a positive slope. If Hello Kitty is driving downhill, then that line would have a negative slope. Uphill positive, downhill negative, which kind of makes sense, right? But what if, there's no slope if you're just going straight horizontal, right? So that would have a 0 for a slope. The others would have either a positive number or a negative number. Now, remember, when we're deciding whether it's an uphill line or a downhill line, slope never goes right to left. It always goes left to right, just like the way you just read that there sentence, huh? Okay, so how about this? Match which one of those graphs has a positive slope, which one has a negative slope, and which one has a 0 slope. Okay, hopefully you got that option C was the one that had a positive slope. We can see that that line is going uphill, but how do you find the actual value of the slope? What's the number? Does it have a slope of 1 or positive 2 or positive 3? Well, we got to look at the actual real-life math definition of the word slope here. And the real definition of the word slope is a ratio. Okay, so it's something over something. And what it's going to compare is vertical change to horizontal change, or vertical change over horizontal change in a ratio. So remember that the word vertical means up, down, and the word horizontal means left and right. And if you need to pause the video and jot that down as a little reminder to yourself, do that. And then let's take a look at how we would find the vertical change of this line and how we would find the horizontal change of this line. Well, we're just going to pick a spot and notice that this line goes up 2 spots and over 1 spot, and then up 2 spots and over 1. So the vertical change is 2 and the horizontal change is 1, and therefore the slope of this line is 2 over 1, which reduces to 2. So slope is just a number value that tells you that this line goes up 2 over 1, not up 3 over 1, not up 5 over 1, not down 2 over 1, but positive 2 is our slope because you're going up 2 over 1. Okay, so slope is a ratio comparing vertical change to horizontal change. So let's take a look at the slope between the point 0, 1 and 1, 2. Hopefully you see why those coordinates give you those 2 dots. And let's see if we can find the slope of the line that goes through those 2 dots by finding the vertical change and then the horizontal change. Remember, the vertical change is the up-down number. So, do we go up? Yeah, we go up 1. And then left-right, how much do we move? Well, we're going to move right 1, which is kind of like forward 1. So, we're going to go plus 1 on the vertical side because we went up 1, and then we're going to go plus 1 for our horizontal change because we went right 1, or you could even say forward 1. And therefore the slope of this line equals 1 because 1 over 1 is 1. So remember that slope is a ratio. It's a ratio of the up-down number and the left-right number. And since it's a ratio of the up-down number and the left-right number, like up 1 or right 1, sometimes what we do for slope is we say slope is rise over run, because it's the up-down number over the left-right number. And if remembering the phrase rise over run is easier than remembering vertical change over horizontal change, then you might want to just jot down that slope is sometimes referred to as rise over run. Okay, one more example. How about this line? Well, we know that we need to find the vertical change and the horizontal change, but where do we start from? Yeah, like the rise or the run from where to where? Well, the good news about this problem is you can just pick any 2 points on the line. Like I could pick this point and this point. Can I count the rise? Well, I have to go from this point to the other one, so I'm actually going down 3, and then I'm going to go forward 2, and so my slope is going to be -3 over 2. Now, you might have counted from one dot to the other and gone up 3 and backwards 2, and you still would have gotten a slope of -3 over 2. And we can talk more about that in class tomorrow. But now I want you to try it. Now I want you to find the slope of this line. What's the rise? What's the run? What's the vertical change? What's the horizontal change? Okay, there's another way to find slope. And you can also find slope, instead of counting out slope on a graph, you can use a formula to find the slope. And if you use the formula, oh boy, look at that formula. What does that mean? Okay, well, let's break this down. You see there's some y's and some x's there, and there's little numbers that go with them. And they kind of look like exponents, but they're not exponents or powers because they're not up, they're kind of down. What these are talking about is, if you have 2 points, each point has coordinates, and each coordinate has an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. So this is talking about the second y-coordinate minus the first y-coordinate over the second x-coordinate minus the first x-coordinate. So you could rewrite this formula as second y minus first y over second x minus first x, if that's more helpful than y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. As long as you understand what it means. But where is the second y and the first y and the second x and the first x? Well, here they are. This is the first x-coordinate and the first y-coordinate. And this is the second x-coordinate and the second y-coordinate. So what we're just going to do is a little bit of math where we, on the top, do the second y minus the first y, and then on the bottom we're going to do the second x minus the first x. So it should be 6 minus 2 over -1 minus 4. Okay, and then we just have to do the math. What's 6 minus 2? 4. And what's -1 minus 4? -5. So what's our slope? -4/5. And we found that slope using a formula, and we never even drew a graph or counted any spots, did we? Okay, so what if you wanted to find the slope between these two? Could we use our formula and do second y minus first y over second x minus first x? Sure. We're going to do second y minus first y, so 2 minus 1, over second x minus first x, which is 4 minus 0. And now we just do the math. 2 minus 1 is 1, 4 minus 0 is 0, and our slope is 1/4. Yeah, our slope is 1 over 4. Now, what if I decided, I don't like that method. I don't like using the formula. Can you still plot these 2 points? Yeah, 0, 1, 4, 2. And can you find the slope by counting rise over run? Yep, up 1 over 4. Hey, look, you got the same slope either way. Now, maybe drawing a graph and counting it out rise over run style is easier, but you have to make sure you know how to draw a graph and count it out correctly. The benefit of doing the formula way is you don't need a graph. Okay, so you can draw a graph of these 2 points and find the slope, or you can use the formula way to find the slope between these 2 points. Either one is fine, or you could do it both ways and just use that as a way to double check and see if you got the right answer. But either way, see if you can come up with the slope from 10,7 to 8,6. All right, to review, slope is a ratio. It's a ratio of what over what? Vertical change over horizontal change. And you can find slope using that vertical change over horizontal change ratio aka rise over run, or you can find slope using second y minus first y over second x minus first x. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking great notes, and thanks for doing those practice problems. We will talk more about slope tomorrow. See ya.